All right, I believe we are on here. I just found a shortcut to re-enter it without repeating everything. So we are now on here live for sure. Yeah, we're on here live right now. So I'm glad I'm here, and whoever else is in here, I'm not the only one by myself, which is good. So I'm going to kind of shut off my phone. All right, so welcome. I fell off the stage. Excuse me. Welcome to Clear Blue Radiance. And I'm the originator and host of Clear Blue Radiance, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. I enjoy doing these live podcasts for the platform, which is for Resonant Essentials Esoteric School of Metaphysics. I'm one of the teachers there. I teach meditation there every Saturday morning from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. Also, like to reiterate that we are now a nonprofit organization. Resident Essentials was initially started by the president, who is Michelle Vidal, and this was her dream. This was something given for her. Like you hear people say, your assignment. So she was given an assignment to start this, and she's, I think, doing very, very well. You know, we have people that come and go, but eventually we get closer and closer to the people who are really supposed to be connected. And I've known her since 2015. And so her Resonant Essentials has been around for 10 years at least. And this is a golden opportunity to be able to share all of the metaphysical and esoteric things that are connected within the walls of our new location here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. If you want to know where that is, you go to Resident Essentials, the group, Resident Essentials, the group on Facebook. And you'll see a picture there that shows exactly where the new location is right now. Well, I also want to thank in advance not only Michelle Vidal for letting me come here and do my weekly podcast. I'm usually here at 1 o'clock, 1:15, 1:30 p.m. To share some designated wisdom with you that I hope blesses you in one way or another. I've done close to 200 podcasts live, and sometimes it's good to repeat many of them. So I'm repeating one for you today. I've kind of worded it differently. The title is slightly different. Today's date is February the 13th, 2025. Clear Blue Radiance. I'm the host, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. Now, I've been a spiritual counselor for 40 plus years, and I enjoy helping people such as yourself gain greater clarity in your life and also redefine your purpose. As you change, your purpose change. In other words, as you become clearer with yourself, so do things around you on your journey of being a metaphysical person and a spiritual person. You eventually evolve. Here we go. Jackie Fillmore Antoine, my fellow Pisces sister. Our month is coming. Blessings from Temple Hills, Maryland. Yes, thank you very much. This particular topic is increasingly becoming very clear to myself and other people that is necessary that we remember that we are here in this earthly body, on this earthly realm, but we have been in other areas throughout the Milky Way, and we've been through other galaxies throughout the greater universe. The universe is always expanding, it's never limited, it's never crunching down, crunching in on itself. The galactic cosmic energy of source is always expanding. It always has new horizons. It has new gateways. And we all get an opportunity to experience these gateways in different formats, different ways. Now, this particular topic that I chose for today is you are the higher self and no one else. That means you don't look like somebody else. You don't act like somebody else. You don't walk and talk like somebody else. You don't nourish yourself like somebody else. You're only you. But here's the beautiful thing about being who you are this infinite being. And I'm going to explain all of these terms in a very short paragraph. I mean, it's short. So, first thing we got to do is define the meaning or term higher self. Now, I like to write it with a hyphen in there between higher and self. We're not just any old self. We have a myself, we have a yourself. When we look and talk to others, we see that there's a herself and a his self, and our children have higher self consciousness. It's a consciousness, it's an awareness, and it's a remembrance. Let me say those three words. It is a consciousness that is higher than what you can imagine. That's who your higher self is. It's consciously higher in wellness, in worthiness, in peace, harmony, and happiness. It's a whole new level of peace, harmony, and happiness. We know and we have acquired through our remembrance that we are connected integrally, intricately. Let me use that intricately. We are connected to a divine source which is vast, is far greater than ourselves. We're not this little being walking around on an earth plane. We can't. This is why we have what we call the growing pains, consciously growing, consciously expanding. There is also the subconscious that is expanding as well. The ancient people of Kemet, out of Africa, right, which is Alkebulan, people say and have said that you are as infinite as the body of waters. You're as infinite as the sky and the land that you walk on, that you live on. You are this vast being of light. The universe is all mental. The subconscious part of ourselves actually reflects internally, it reflects the divine source, the I am presence. And we're here to remember that there are infinite parts of ourselves that we have planted here around ourselves to remind ourselves. In fact, each and every one of us is here to remind each other that we are having just an earthly experience, but inside we are divine beings. We are infinite. So, what is the higher self? Not just the self, but the higher self. The higher self is your true, authentic, original self. Your higher self is your true, meaning you only speak truth. You're not speaking or creating falsehood. So there's truth. And I forgot to bring my other book in here. I don't think I brought it in. Oh, I have it right here. There's a book I'm going to use today, pull from. the power of the subconscious mind. Unlock your what? Unlock Your Master Key to Success by Joseph Murphy. Now, we have to realize we are true, right? We are authentic, which means we are original. There's no two beings that look alike or act alike. Now, yeah, there might be some twins, some triplets, some quadruplets, right? Quintuplets, sextets. But hey, no matter how they all look inside, they're all truly different. There's something inside that makes each one of those beings in a physical form different. We are also an original. You've all have heard that phrase used in quote unquote the street. You can't break the mold. The mold can't be broken. The original cannot be broken. It is who it is. So you are a truth carrying being who expresses truth or light. In fact, the word light in its higher meaning means degrees, light as in degrees. So within all of us, there are not finite degrees, but infinite degrees of self awareness, infinite degrees of remembrance, infinite degrees of light, infinite degrees of grace, infinite degrees of purity in our consciousness. And our consciousness is constantly evolving. We're raising our consciousness all the time. This is good for us to know. We are raising our consciousness all the time. We're a part of the light of divine source. We have, therefore, a true nature. The word nature in itself means truth, and it's forever evolving. Na is Latin for constant evolution, constantly being reborn. This means we are an infinite metaphysical and spiritual intelligence housed or hosting a physical form. Infinite means ongoing, not stopping at all. Just keep either constantly replicating itself or consciously evolving to higher states of awareness. The word metaphysical. Meta means beyond. So therefore, metaphysical is anything that is beyond the physical plane, beyond the physical appearance. And we are spiritual intelligence, meaning our intelligence connects to light. You think of spirit, spirit is fire, its essence is light. That's why you have words like inspiration and aspiration. Aspiration means you're reaching up toward to become more of who you are. Inspiration means it's coming into you. So when we say we feel inspired, we feel moved by spirit. When we are aspiring, we're expanding our consciousness, our thought processes, our feelings, our sensations, and we're reaching out to something much bigger than this little part of us. Us on earth is perhaps like what an ant is when it's walking around on your thumb. Can you imagine in the body of an ant compared to yourself? How many of those ants make up you? If we could take each ant and put it on your body, how many ants would make up you? There are a lot of them. And think of it this way, I mentioned ant. Every insect, every animal on the earth, living in the walls of caverns, living deep in the bed of the earth itself, into the soil, in bodies of water, okay, in trees, okay, all have intelligence. I remember seeing one time on Geographic, National Geographic, they had this fellow and his team. I forget where they were. I don't know if they were here in the United States or were they in the UK or were they in Australia, but He was studying ants, the intelligent nature of ants. And what he did was he found a hole into the earth. And he had been watching these ants come and go, come and go, come and go, come and go. So, what he basically did was he saw these areas where the ants were coming up out of the ground. And you know how it is, ants furrow, bury themselves into the ground. They are able to take food into the ground, things to them that represents food, nourishment. But what he discovered was he had opened up one of those holes, made it big enough. Then he kind of flushed them out. Now that's probably uncomfortable for the ant for sure to see all this body of water flushing through their system. But here's the thing, getting the ants to come out was what he wanted to do. And what he did was he poured, like, I believe, like concrete into it, was able to pour concrete into this hole and then wait for several hours or a day or two and start to dig into this area. And what he discovered was a mass systematic living that these ants were doing. Hmm? Like people, created tubings, hallways, and each one of these sections that the ant was in, there was a special place where they put their food, special place where they took pieces of the earth in there, special places where they conjured up together, grouped together, and lived. This is an ant. Its brain, its intelligence factor, brain is much smaller than ours, yet it knows how to create space. The same with the bees, with the honeycombs, creating a space where they could have compartments for the queen to lay her eggs, where they could have compartments where they could deposit the honey. And why is it that the bee understands sacred geometry? Because the beehive, all that within the bee's nest has hexagonal shapes going on, creating according to nature, the mind of nature itself. So, this is why those out of ancient Egypt or Akibulan out of Africa said that we are a mighty people. We are not the only ones with intelligence, but we do carry an intelligent nature within us. And every living thing on the earth carries an intelligent nature within itself. That is its truth. Now, we know the opposite of truth is falsehood. The opposite of unconditional love is fear. If you have a fear about something, then from that fear, and we see it all over the world replicating itself right now, people having fear, and sometimes an unfounded fear because they were taught something that was incorrect, and then they continue to carry it out because they think that's the reality of what the world should be. I'm stating this without being stating politics. But let's get back to this. You are a true, authentic, meaning there's no other person exactly like you. You are an original being, so you're authentic and original self. And this self is connected integrally with a divine source greater than itself. And you were birthed within the divine source, and you are the infinite thought of divine source. Divine source can think, therefore, has its experience through a multiple system of beings that is constantly growing, constantly evolving, constantly being infinite on so many different layers. We might say the different chakra layers within the divine source, which is infinite, by the way, expresses on so many different levels. That's why there's so many galaxies. The cosmos is huge. And we try to use things like astrology, astronomy, phrenology, palmistry, numerology, cardology. Um, we try to study the maps, old maps of the world. We try to get into um, what is it? I think it's called cartography. Cartography. That's the maps, right? But there is a system where you can study the vortexes of energies that would connect with you according to your astrological and numerological makeup, with all the worlds, continents, towns, you name it. There are numbers that connect to your numbers where you could live more harmoniously. So the reason why I brought this up, you are the higher self and no one else, because scientists are always have been proving for eons, I'm going to say, that you can live your life through the dream world. The ancient shamans, medicine men and women, have taught their own that they can travel from one dream world to another dream world and never awaken in this physical world. But the dream world is their truth of who they really are. In the dream world, the reason why it's the truth of who they are, because they could change things in the dream while the body is at rest, while the body is asleep. They can go in there and change everything: the people, the animals, the land, the boundaries of within the land. Everything can be manipulated within the dream world. You do not have to accept everything that comes off that you see in the dream world, because you are the manipulator of time. You are the co-creator of time. You're the co-creator of how you're going to respond or act upon something as it unfolds in front of you. You are this being who is special. Perhaps in our studies, and when I say our studies, not just what I might be sharing with you, but what you will find and discover about yourself as you research your metaphysical and spiritual nature, excuse me, you're going to find yourself creating a shift, moving from an old paradigm to a new paradigm. In other words, we are no longer living under the era of Pisces. Neither are we living under Aries. We're in the Aquarian age. When you look at the astrological wheel, it's going clockwise. Or the era of time is shifting like this. The era of time, I'll do it this way. The era of time, because you see my hand. The era of time is approaching you, and you're walking through it as to who you are from lifetime to lifetime. But one of the unique things of having today's topic is to remind you that you do not belong to this physical world. This physical world, in truth, it is not your home. Now, when we're bombarded through the internet and radio and news and our cell phones and our iPads and our laptops, yeah, I'm one of them too. Sometimes I spend a little too much time on the laptop trying to look for things. But the real laptop, the real computer is myself. I have to learn to go within and create new worlds, new thoughts. But where am I creating these new thoughts to build a new world? Well, the key is you don't have to build so much. You just have to realize that there are other forms of a new paradigm. That's why we keep seeing people share with us different teachings, fifth dimensional range, sixth dimensional realm, seventh dimensional realm, eighth dimensional realm, nine dimensional realm, 10, 11, 12, 13. There was a book I had one time where a fellow, I think his name was Richard Krem. I think that was one of the authors I was reading. This is way back in the uh, mid 1980s. In his book, many of them were saying there are actually 365 different levels. Why they were equating that as a correspondence to the 365 meridian points within your body, and also the 365 days of the current calendar system, so that you could find these different ranges, these different levels of awareness. And they said every time we awaken to a newer realm of thinking, the newer realm descends into the energy field of the current one. And this is why we've had those phrases, you can't carry new wine in old bottles. So they're going to burst eventually. Or they get convoluted, all mixed up with everything else. So you got to cleanse the thought process to think differently, to see differently through your own eyes, to identify light through yourself. You must change your outlook. In order to change what's outside of you, we have to go inside and change. Many teachers talk about it, from Dr. Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith. He talks about it. You got to go within. You have to find your truth, and it's inside of you. Late Dr. Reverend Frederick Eichenkrokota taught the same thing. He's never said that God was outside of you. Dr. Reverend Ike said he's inside of you. And he says if you see a wealthy person, don't curse the wealthy person. Why? Because you're the next. You're seeing the wealth around you because it's a replication of it being on the inside of you. So if I used to have one of my other students, he lives in down in Charlotte, and he used to when he used to drive me from pick me. He lived in Queens with his sister and his mom, and he would drive out to Nassau County every Friday, pick me up because I was teaching at a metaphysical bookshop, and I did readings every Friday, and every Friday night I had my creative pathwork meditation series, and every second Saturday I would give workshops and readings, and then every second Sunday I had another location that I would go to, and I would do my second Circle of Grace One group, more like a satellite group. But here's the thing, my young friend and student Bill would pick me up, right, and we would have these beautiful discussions. But one of the things he was striving to get was he wanted to lease, not own. He wanted to lease a brand new car. So eventually, he went from a Blazer, Chevrolet Blazer. He manifested that, and then he went from that to a Jetta, and he went to another one called a Maxim. It was called. It looked like a little short station wagon. But how he would manifest the Jetta, he would have it on his mind that he wanted a Jetta, a Volkswagen Jetta. And he would have it on his mind so much that when we went across the George Washington Bridge, we would begin to see all these Jettas pass us. Every color you can think of, teal blue, forest green, yellow, orange, dark blue, purple, rich dark purple, champagne kind of colors, white colors, black colors, blue colors. Thing was, he was manifesting in it in the mind so strongly, and with his heart so strongly, he started to draw into the vicinity of his thoughts jettas. And he said he would call me Pop. He said, Pop, I'm listening to the 10 steps to your heart's awareness that you were putting out there. I says, really? I said, one of the things I told him is if you want that Jetta, you need to go to a car dealership, find the Jetta you want, and let them go with you to test drive it. Now you're spending all this time test driving Maximas and Jettas and mm, other cars of importance. Why? To get the feel, the smell, the new leather, to get the what it feels like sitting in one of those vehicles. To the point that he manifested one for himself that he could lease. He uses that same concept now to gather something that he wants into his life. Well, this is done. Anybody can do that. Anybody. It is how I got to Albuquerque, New Mexico. My late mother told me Albuquerque is my home, my true and real home. Once I got here, I would meet people that I know and new people that would know me. But nonetheless, when we came together, we would mushroom our light out into this world. That is what has happened. I've met numerous loving souls, younger than me, my age, older than me. When our energies come together, it explodes, it mushrooms out. But how, once she told me that and I started dreaming and I started going online, what was the next best thing I would get? Because I was now already living in Jersey. I would go online and order the Visitors Bureau for Albuquerque and also for Santa Fe. And it was a magazine. So when the magazine came to my house, every year I was pouring through that magazine until the ink was on my hand. That's how much I wanted to be here. You know, there are things that I saw in that magazine, like Ghost Ranch. That stuck out in my. I wonder what Ghost Ranch is like. Then once I arrived here, which was in November of 2011 on my late father's birthday, November the 15th, I even mapped that out. I wanted to take the train. I took the train. I came here with some friends in November of 2010 by airplane, but I came to celebrate my birthday for a week, and it happened to be spring week. So I was out here from March 14th or so, 15th, all the way up to March the 20th of 2012. And I took the Amtrak round trip. I had a blast. I met all kind of new people on the train. Never thought I could talk that much and sleep in harmony with others on the train. But the beauty of it is I was creating the steps so I could experience being here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Went to a lot of places in less than a week. Libraries, library events, plays, had a chance to witness flamenco music, Spanish music and dancing, jazz, outdoor festivals, drum circles, let alone the food itself, watching the sunrise and set. But here's the thing, I was creating these steps, these methods, so what I get go to sleep at night dreaming about. There was one point when I lived in Paterson, New Jersey with a friend prior to coming here, almost a whole year prior to coming here. The beauty of that situation was there was a Caribbean restaurant right around the corner and up the road from him. And I would go there because I enjoyed the meals. I would wind up going there and having lunch. And the woman that ran it, she says, "Do you don't mind if I watch my favorite cable TV show?" I said, "I don't mind. It's your shop. It's your restaurant." We were both watching, along with the husband coming in later, watching various episodes of Breaking Bad. And where was Breaking Bad being filmed at? Here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Somewhere around different parts of the city, some further south of the city. Breaking Bad. Very popular cable TV show, just as popular as the time of the TV show. You might remember back in the 70s, there was a TV show called MASH, MASH, MASH. It was called MASH because it was supposed to be about an encampment of U.S. Army medical people who were taking care of the wounded during the Vietnam War. It was just as popular as MASH, Breaking Bad. In fact, there's a house here where they used to throw pizza boxes on top. Someone bought the house and had to call the cops to keep people from coming down the block, getting out of their cars and throwing pizza on this guy's house. Why? Because that was the house that was placed within the TV show, Breaking Bad. I got to see everything that I wanted to see. Got to see hot air balloons literally land on the street all around you during the seasonal time when they have hot air balloons. But I used all of that to pull myself here. When I eventually got here, I met some friends out here. They're still good friends of mine. And the gentleman, I'll call him by his first name, Mike. Mike was a member of one of many New Mexico men's uh, programs, organizations. And guess what? One of them, during the fall of 2017, went to Ghost Ranch. Ghost Ranch was property owned by the artist, the female artist, Georgia O'Keeffe, who originally was from New York City. And her husband made a lot of money in stocks and trading. And she took that money. She was also an artist. She took that money saved by her and her late husband, and she traveled by car, I can imagine, all the way from New York City to here in the Albuquerque area. But she went a little north past Albuquerque and Santa Fe into an area called Abiqui. In fact, Oprah Winfrey owned some property in Abiqui. And Abiqui is this spacious, really spread out location. But Georgia O'Keeffe had a house in that area up on a mountain overlooking the valley area of Abiqui. But she owned a place where there were cottage homes. And in these cottage homes, and there was a church on the property. I think it was the Presbyterian Church took over that property. And she had all these places for workers tending to the field. More than likely, looking at the field, probably were growing jalapeno peppers, maybe some corn. But it was an area where people could be taken care of. Because back in those times, in the 30s, in the Depression, there were things where people were struggling with TB, which is tuberculosis. So she had all of these facilities, these homes set up so that men and women could be cared for. That place is still there. Homes all over the place, cottages all over the place, where people can come there and experience different workshops. Georgia O'Keeffe set that up. Greetings, Island Empress, better known as Barbara Ewing. So these things were out there. to create healing. And I went, when we did the men's group, it was about dragon energy. But one of the unique things was we were sitting out there writing each other's or adding to each other's story. We would talk about our life. Yeah, I think we had 10 points to cover or 5 points to cover about who we were. And then we would pass on our story to the right, whoever was sitting in our circle to the right, and then they would read our story. And then they would add on what they knew about us. And then we'd go to the next person, and that person would read the initial root of who I was and what the other person wrote about me. And then they would write something. So you might have by that time five or six different things about yourself. And it's very healing. It's what that person may know or may not know about you. But here's the blessing in that it was an opportunity to give yourself a new outlook on life. So here we are. We are here in the valley of the earth where we have been told that we cannot strive for nothing more or anything more than what we see right in front of us. But the bottom line is quantum therapy or quantum leaping, quantum jumping, quantum scientists have figured out that the atom and the molecular structure of our minds live beyond our physical form, and that there are other paradigms within the toroidal field of who we are. There are plenty, infinite timelines. And in each one of those timelines, our infinite thoughts exist. Whatever we think we are is in those other timelines. So we can use those other timelines to raise our consciousness, to expand our awareness, and expand our remembrance of our true self, because we are infinite metaphysical and spiritual intelligence. We are a life force carrying that much energy and light all the time. So, what am I saying? What I'm learning to do as well as teach it to you is act more like my higher self and not my earthly self, Francis. Act more like my higher self. So I'm going to use a snippet from this book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Unlock your master key to success. Well, here's something that he has placed in here. And he has different things that he places here. He says, if you want to be wealthy, want to acquire more finances, you got to create the concept in your mind. He says one thing is your constant supply of money. Well, in the unity churches and the centers of spiritual living, they teach that. They say within the consciousness training that they become that. Woo-wee, look who's on here. I was just thinking about you. Amira Revels-Bey. Act more like my higher self. Love this. Thank you. Everybody, this is my younger niece, Amira Revels-Bey out of Oakland, California. So we have to act more like, if we act more like our higher self, all this stuff that we see around us won't exist. I thought someone was knocking at my door. Well, so the thing is, we want to be more like ourselves, but the higher self. The higher self attracts higher frequencies into our life. That's what the higher self does. It attracts higher frequencies. So when it attracts higher frequencies that it resonates with you, that means you will attract new people into your life. You will attract new ideas to become more self sufficient. You will attract new ideas to become wealthier and healthier. You will start hearing what the body wants you to know in order for it to heal. That means your body can say, like, I need you to go get some aloe gel. Or your body might say, I need you to get some aloe juice. Or your body might say, well, inside the body, there is selenium. Oh, so selenium makes you better. So therefore, your body will tell you to go outside and go to a gem store and get selenite. Why? To enhance the frequency outside of yourself within your auric field and increase the frequency of the selenite you already have within your body. So you're consciously moving forward. There's things that I've been studying for a long time and consciously studying and applying. And one of the things I was applying was the teachings of Dr. Michael Beckwith. One of his books are back here somewhere. One of his books back here. I can't find it right at this. Oh, here it is. One of his many books I used to study all the time was this book. I've studied this book so much that finally have attracted a higher frequency, and I'm studying him live right now, studying his teachings all the time. In fact, conversing with him on different levels. He every day he sends me an intentional prayer. Now, to me, that's a brand new concept, intentional prayer. That means what he's teaching his entire community of people is to make a statement, make an intention that you become what you say. And I tell you, it's an amazing feeling. So if I intend to be more of my higher self, or better yet, to be my higher self, eventually, in a faster time frame, I begin to attract things like my higher self. I begin to meet people who are highly awakened to their higher self and that know that they are their higher self. He says in his book, the answer is you. I'm going to read you something. It's potent. This small hardcover book. He says, when we are happy, our hearts and minds are open, receptive, flexible, creative, and teachable, qualities that are prerequisites for success. Happy, that's the key. You got to create joy in yourself. That's why if you're in relationships, doesn't matter, siblings, marital relationships, business relationships, nobody makes you happier than yourself. You can't look for someone else to say, well, I need my husband to make me happy. I need my son and daughter to make me happy. No, you need to make yourself happy. He says, the real happiness is not conditioned by outer circumstances. Isn't that amazing? Huh? It's not outer circumstances that are going to make you happy. Here's something else. Let's go back a little bit. He says, tapping the root of happiness, chapter 2. He says, who amongst us does not yearn to be happy? Philosophy, religion, and psychology reveal humanity's efforts to define the meaning of happiness, how to experience it, and how to sustain it. While traditions and beliefs individuate one culture from another. This is I like him. His vocabulary is immense. The desire for happiness is the common denominator uniting all beings. He says, I believe that the very purpose of our life is to seek happiness. Now, that quote right there, I believe that the very purpose of our life is to seek happiness, is stated by His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. Aristotle says, happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. So he says, when viewed through the lens of the answer is you, this is Dr. Michael Besford talking, the answer is you, viewed through the lens, we see that happiness has nothing to do with forces outside of ourselves because we are the producer of happiness as it outpictures in our life structures. Isn't that amazing? He says in chapter 1, your heart knows how to trust because it is something you are born with. Your heart says, first and foremost, know who you are as an indigenous being who actualizes the infinite possibilities that lie within you. You are the very answer you seek. So, how do we align ourselves with this true self? We have to tell ourselves every day with a joyful manner and embrace ourselves that I am a happy being. Today. Today, I am the infinite resource of divine source. Today. And, it's not just saying the words, we have to feel it inside. So let's do an exercise while we're here. Got my niece here, Amira. I'm putting up something together for all of you in Oakland and Arizona. I'm creating some videos, catching up to my word. But put your hands over your heart. The heart is behind the center of your sternum. It's not off to the left. It's right behind the sternum. Your heart sits between your lungs. And I want you to think of one word that brings happiness. So let's say family or relationship, positive high vibrational relationship, or high vibrational frequency and relationship to wealth and finance, and you name it. So put this here. And let's rub the hands together first. Let's activate the chi in the hands. Do you feel them kind of warm up? Then place them so the thumbs touch. The thumbs are the will of the mind. Place them over your heart. And I want you to repeat to yourself mentally what brings you the greatest happiness. And we want it to be the greatest happiness now. We don't want to put it off into the future. We want to put it into the now. Plant it inside of you now. And I want you to inhale. And as you think about that, inhale it into the heart and into the body. Inhale it. And as you exhale, whatever that thought, that feeling is, I want you, as you exhale it, I want you to feel it being coursing throughout your body. So you want to not only say it over and over to yourself, but you're going to have to create an image in your mind because the thought and the feeling must be on the same page. And you create a slight smile upon your face as you are thinking about that which brings you the greatest happiness now. It has to make you happy now, not tomorrow, not this weekend, but now. And I want you to fall in love with that feeling, that sensation, because that's very important. What you are sensing will magnify itself and multiply itself throughout your self. Now, here's the key, the initial key. Not only are you thinking what makes you happy right now, not only are you feeling what makes you feel like you're happy right now, I want you to now say to yourself, from not the bottom of my heart, from the center of my being, from the center of my heart, I am truly my higher self. And that makes me absolutely happy. Now you want to feel all of that. Feel the joy, the power of joy when spoken. You're planting the seed from inside of you so it can blossom throughout your body, create tingling sensation upon your head and face, the rest of your body and hands. And just know that you are quite worthy to be happy, to be happier now than you were yesterday. You are worthy to be wealthier now than you were yesterday. You are worthy to be happier about your state of health. So if it was slowing down yesterday, today, the energy of health within you is striving and it's expanding itself and is creating more positivity throughout your body. And you feel happy, you feel joyful, you feel elated because you can relate to the elation, the elevation of total happiness, infinite happiness. There's something known as laugh yoga, and I like to do it this way. Think about that thing or things inside of you, people, remembrances inside of you that bring great happiness to you, and that you prosper abundantly from all of it because you're giving it to others. And you just might think, ha ha ha. You might also add on to ha ha ha, he, that's he, and then HOO, ho, ha, he, ho, ha, he, ho. If you were to repeat those three times, each word, each sound three times, and repeat the whole phrase three times, and if you do it without thinking about it, you're going to bust out laughing. And what you're going to raise the energy within yourself. Why? Because now you're reaching out into the universe with a healthy, happy state of mind and well being that can only attract more positive things, such as itself and greater than itself, more infinite part of itself. Even if you put your hands out around you, I wanted you to feel the energy real slow. Feel the energy. Convince yourself you're feeling the energy on your hands. And you're like following the motions of washing it on, massaging it on to your body. Happiness. Know that you can be happy whenever you want to be happy. Do not let the outer world create sadness in you. That's why we're being bombarded with all this stuff, you see. Hmm? You don't really need to listen to the news. What you need to listen to is the new you, known as the higher self. That's your real news. The new you is your higher self that's bursting at the seams of your physical self that wants to be in this world It knows it's not of the world, but it is in the world. So why your higher self is you expressing itself to you, let your higher self tell you exactly what it wants to do. If your higher self says get up and dance, you better get up and dance. If your higher self tells you to stretch, stretch. If your higher self tells you I need you to go lay down so I can feed more information, you got to go lay down. Your higher self might say, I want you to watch something on Netflix to get your mind off of worry and anxiety so I can plant greater seeds into you. Because if you don't, what's outside of you, all the negativity starts seeping into you. You don't want gunk seeping into you. You don't want people's negative thoughts or ideas seeping into you. You don't want worry and anxiety seeping into you. Deepak Chopra said, prayer is positive. Worry is negative prayer. It's not positive. If you're worrying all the time, you will attract more to you of whatever you're worrying about. So if you're jovial and happy and you're thinking about something that's positive, you're going to have more of what you're thinking about, what you are desiring to have. Desire means from the Father or from the universe. You are the seer. You are the seer for yourself. So you bring more into your life because you are this infinite metaphysical spiritual intelligence. You have been taught that you are less and low and not real and not a true being that can express divine light. But oh, good way to slip in laughter, right? You are a divine light source unto yourself, connected to a more infinite battery, a more infinite transformative energy. Call the I am presence. And you are an exact reflection, but there are billions of other people like yourself who are doing the same but on another level. So here's my niece Amira on here. She's over there in Oakland and she's practicing positive things. And then she picks it up, and here she is. Why? All day I've been thinking about her since yesterday, and here she is in my podcast audience. She can feel my energy. And let's see what Uncle Frank's doing. Let me tune in to see what Uncle Frank's doing. And then here she finds me talking about this. I would say very much that she's been thinking the same exact thing. So when we think, we become these like minds, thinking the same exact thing that we are divine light, we are degrees of infinite truth. We are not normal. We are not an earthly being. We are a divine being. That's right, divine timing. We all need to stop worrying. This brother right here, says it. Go to his YouTube page. Go to Michael Bernard Beckwith. That's his name. Go to Michael Bernard Beckwith. He doesn't have the dreads anymore. He's shaved that all off. But if you go there, look him up on YouTube. He has Agape in there. You can see all the services that are played, and you'll see them in full. They're like an hour to 2 hours long, and you'll hear him talk. But what you also will see, he has another uh, channel in there called Take Back Your Mind. And when you see him talk about that, he interviews different people. That's the path I'm heading in right now. He and I chat every day by texting each other. He always sends me something very positive for me to think about. Well, guess what? Before I close off, we're going to do a special meditation, a special creative pathwork meditation, a very original, and it's the very first one I ever created. And it was called Meeting Your Higher Self. And I did that way back in 1997. So here's how you're going to meet your higher self. It is a guided meditation. And I want you to focus on the center of your sternum and then deeply inside as well as outside. I want you to create with me this journey. We're using your pineal gland, which emanates right here, but also on the sides as well. Your pineal gland is your all seeing eye on the inside of your head. And I want you to begin to envision seeing yourself going for a walk. And as you go for this walk, it's not far, it's in a park. And along the way, you can see rabbits and squirrels, birds, all kinds. You might see a bear waving to you. They all are waiting for you to arrive. And as you walk down this beautiful gravel and earthen path, you soon see a bridge, a sturdy stone bridge. And I would say throughout the stone, the bridge is inlaid with gems and crystals. This very sturdy bridge takes you over a large pond. And you can look on either side of the pond and see a reflection of yourself, of your current self. But just ahead of you at the other end, before you meet the center, is this beautiful, illustrious being known as your higher self. It may appear to you to be in a robe, like a Shaolin monk, or it may appear to be dressed like the Dalai Lama with saffron robes on, or just may you dressed as you are right now. I want you to feel it. Feel the energy flowing back and forth over that bridge between your higher self and the self you are right now. And I want you to walk upon this bridge until you reach the center. But before you reach the center, the higher self has released itself from the other side. It's in the heaven of your mind and heart, and it's coming to greet you. And it doesn't take that far. The strides of the higher self matches your strides, and you meet at the center of this bridge. The center is your heart. This is where you're meeting, heart to heart communication. You meet up with your higher self. And as you're meeting with the higher self, I want you to embrace each other. Embrace each other like two old friends. You haven't seen each other in quite some time. You begin to sway from side to side. Hello there, Rose Jefferson. You sway from side to side, embracing your higher self, which was over on the other side, but wanted to meet you today, walking on the bridge, stride for stride, along with you. You meet at the center of this bridge and you embrace each other. And you feel greater awareness, a greater sensation, a greater feeling of unconditional love because the higher self has no conditions. It's not bound by any conditions. It only knows how to express that which is divine. It has that is its true nature. It is light. And one of the lights it expresses is grace. Another is compassion. Another is self knowing. Another is confidence. So now that you two have embraced each other, the higher self takes you back into the light where it emanated from, because it wants you to know there's a special place there, built almost like a gazebo, and it's laden with gems and with all kind of flowers and things that you have not seen before. And the higher self takes you by your hand, which is you vibrating on a higher level, takes you into this little gazebo, or let's say like this yurt, Yert, yurt, or Yurt. You go inside this yurt, and it's laden with canvas and beautiful rugs on the inside. It even has a fireplace, but it has gems all over the place. Has a little area where you can cook, another little area where you can bathe, another little area where you can sit down and enjoy your meal. The higher self took you into the frequency of your own mind, where you begin to experience this as real, because it is, and because your higher self is real, and so are you. You might begin to rock in your chair. So be it. You might feel like you're crying. So be it. You might feel like you got to get up and dance. So be it. You might feel like you got to stand up and shout. So be it. Do what you are feeling and know that it is what? Healthy and expanded wealthiness for you. Know that you can attain whatever your heart's desire. That is a true statement. Why? Because you are one with all that is infinite. You are one with the thought and unconditional love of the creator and creatress. Huh? Both. You are one and the same. You are the God and goddess energy. You are Gaia. You are the sun. You are the moon. You are the reality of all that ever was, is, or evermore shall be. Shall means it's absolutely true. That's what the word shall. You are the living experience of grace. You shall be grace because you are grace. That means everything you say comes in ease, effortlessness, and there ain't no pain to be experienced. You are your divine self on earth, called your higher self. You are this spiritual life force. You are this metaphysical infinite being. You cannot be hindered. You cannot be stopped. You cannot be captured. The only thing that captures you embraces you, and that's a divine source inside of you. So go deeper within your conscious awareness opened heart. Opens up like a seven petaled lotus. And inside there is you embracing your higher self. And everything you see outside of yourself is beauty and harmony and prosperity, and not just better health, not just an awakened better health, but true health. True health is prosperity, abundance, joy, happiness, debt free. Many of us are working on that, myself included. But we don't focus on what we don't have. We focus on what we do have. We're in love with the opportunity to become greater than what we have been told. Not that your parents were incorrect, because things were telling your parents to, things in the media were telling your parents not to release truth to you. But that's why truth is expanding, because it has to expand, because you are wide awake. You are aware of your own divinity. The universe is saying, tag, you're it. The universe is saying, you are grace in action. The universe is saying, you're creating a Charlotte's Web of what? Destiny. And everything that gets almost runs into the web, the sticky web, are the truth of who you are, so you can see it. You are always truly being yourself and no one else. To be yourself is to be authentic. To be yourself is to be original. To be yourself is to be your truth. To be yourself is to speak your truth. I sound like a rapper. So, why you all are on here, there's a gift welling inside of me. And the gift is that I'm going to speak something positive into your life, to all of you, through divine power and by divine grace. For those that are watching me today or will watch me during a replay whenever they want to, those who want to text me or email me, those who want to receive this word or these words, through divine power and by divine grace. All of you that are listening right now and replaying this whenever you want to, or sharing this with others, know that you are divine and you are free. You are well, you are great. You are a better version today than you were yesterday. Know that you are overflowing with wealth and prosperity. Understand that you are already the wellness that you seek. You're not seeking perfection, you're seeking to always be present in the now. You can only live for now. You're not living for the future. The future has not come yet. But guess what? You can create the future by creating right now. So I want you to embrace the truth of who you are. I want you to say, I am happy. I want you to say that I am free. I want you to say, I am joy. I want you to say, I am peace. I want you to say, I am unconditional love. I want you to say, there are no limitations. I want you to say, I'm not living in a state where I'm bound. I'm living in a state of consciousness where I have a boundless mind. I'm not limited. I have more than just confidence. I have self confidence, and I will achieve whatever I ask for, because even in the asking, the first thing that you're going to say, I'm in a state of gratitude for all that I've ever received within me, whether it came from mom or dad or grandma or grandpa, my uncle, my aunt. Doesn't matter whether it came from a child within my home. It doesn't matter if there's a walking fur baby in my home. It doesn't matter. I am who I say that I am. I am a better version today than I was yesterday because I am infinite. I am an infinite divine intelligence. I am a source of divine being, and I'm living in the now, right here on earth. And earth, when I switch the letters around, I can hear my heart. So you're speaking from your heart. You shall always be the personification of wealth, health, prosperity, abundance, happiness, joy, compassion, truth, originality. You are a reflection as your higher self walking on earth. Your higher self is in you, and you are hosting your higher self at the same time. You are a reflection of divine source. That's why that phrase says, I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. The word that is a bridge that takes you into the heart of the I am presence, which is overflowing with divine intelligence, a spiritual nature that cannot be stopped because you are a metaphysical being. You are beyond the beyond. You are greater now than you were before. Why? Because you are aware of that which you are now experiencing and seeing. You are aware that you can remember every part of your truth of who you are, and you will continue to remember every part of the truth of who you are. I need to bring something out of my book. I need, because this book talks about Radiant heart, the seven amazing pathways to connect, activate, and communicate with your higher self. This is what you need to know. You are a living prayer. Here's something else you need to know. And this is the beauty of who you are. You're going to step beyond their shadow self. And you're going to rebirth and regenerate and transform yourself to be your higher self. And you're not going to wait to do it tomorrow. Today is the day. The higher self is the internal I am presence in you and dwells in you. The higher self is the super consciousness in all of us. This means that you have total access to it without any blockages because everything is energy flowing through at different frequencies. You are not stuck at the basic nine frequencies to feel its expression in you. The basic nine frequencies, Hertz cycle frequencies, are 174, 470, 417, 741, 258, 528, 825. You're beyond them. You're not just 369, 639, 963. You are beyond those tones. You are beyond those portals. The higher self is an infinite and immortal expression of the divine nature of God in you. It is not and can never be limited or cut off because it can literally bring itself into the physical dimension by invoking itself through lower realms of expression. It is consciously aware of itself and you as well. Dedicated seekers as students are often in search of the metaphysical and spiritual truths of who we are. The higher self knows all things. Your Akashic records from the infinite cosmic realms into and through the physical world while standing between you and the eternal divine source, and yet it has been everywhere as a distant traveler to all worlds. So, if you act as if you are a child of divine source, then you will receive every infinite realm of higher consciousness and see it, meaning your higher self, as a being that can be eternally activated, not shut off, eternally activated, not shut off, eternally activated. And know it is always inside of you. Some people will use it healing sounds, incense, crystals to set a special ambience, but all you truly need is yourself. And when you're in touch with your higher self, you have synchronicity. Life is getting easier, more moments of being happier, less to no worry and tension at all. We are tolerating life better, less tension between ourselves and other people. Toxicity dissolves and begins to slide away. The feeling of needy and afraid melts away. We become more excited about living life freely every day. We start to change up our routines and schedules. We start smiling more and feeling better about ourselves and others in our lives. We begin to remember how to live graciously and be kinder to ourselves. We remember to forgive ourselves. So here's a little message from the higher self. The higher self is truly eternal and so divine. It is always befitting as it becomes a new you. It has always been you, it never left you. You must awaken to the new reality that tag you are it. See, so remembrance is key. Feeling allows you to be in the moment with energy produced while in the state of meditation. This is why you got to meditate every day. Get in the habit of meditating every day so you kick that energy forward. That's important. It's important to be your higher self. See, you are the higher self from lifetime to lifetime. Do you know you can jump one paradigm, one life and go into another life and see yourself doing exactly what you want to be doing. I'm going to end it right there. You are a transformational being. You are an infinite being. We have to become that infinite being right now. So, in your world of infinite beingness, there is no negative personalities because you are creating this new world. They become smaller in your world. Do you know if you think of someone joyfully long enough, you will manifest that person? That's what happened with Amira today. She thought about her Uncle Frank and found me. I thought about her days ago, and here she is. I found her. I thought about all of you, and all of you are here. Applaud yourself, embrace yourself. You're now functioning as the magical side of your true self, also called into existence as your higher self. So, your higher self is on that other side now with you and embracing you. Now it's walking you back over the bridge through your heart. That's the bridge into this world. But guess what? You're not going to forget anything that was said today. If you do, come back and replay it. You can't forget anything because you are all consciousness. You cannot forget anything because you are higher consciousness. You can't forget anything because you are a super consciousness. You can't forget anything because you're an infinite consciousness. You have infinite awareness, infinite remembrance, and you are whoever you say that you are. So this is why Reverend Ike used to say, hey, the God name is I am, and whatever comes after it, you shall become. So, whatever you say after I am, you shall become. I am grateful. I am forgiving. I am blessed. I am worthy. I'm a super infinite consciousness. I'm a super well person. I am a wealthy person. I am a person of abundance. I'm an abundant, real, prospering, real being right now. The word being is you're being what? God in you. BNG. Be in God in you. God is in you being who you are right now. I say I love you all unconditionally. I'll be here next Thursday, hopefully, if I have talked my throat out. Here's the laughter, see? Hee hee hee, ha ha ha, ho ho ho, hee ha ha ho, hee hee. Just laugh. Be more of yourself today. And then tomorrow, when tomorrow arrives at sunset, you will proclaim it, you will decree it, you will it into what? Being present. You will intend that I'm happy. You can intend it right now. If you were sad, just say, no, right now I'm happy. And if I got tears coming, they're tears of joy that I'm happy. Because I can only be what? Happier today than I was yesterday. More abundant today than I was yesterday. More prosperous today than I was yesterday. More focused today than I was yesterday. And all of this comes and becomes a sense of ease. Hey, Indigo Moon, a sense of ease for you is the word grace. My grace is your. That's why you hear me say, or I sign off in my emails. My grace is your grace. Why? Because we are entangled with each other. We are reflections. We are the expressions of each other. So when I say my grace is your grace, it's like you speaking it back to me. My grace is your grace. It's the one and the same grace. It's light. It's infinite light, infinite love that's expressed unconditionally, no strings attached. So, my grace is your grace. Until next time, in the next moment of now, In the next moment of now, in the next moment of now, remember that divine grace, I just won't say grace, higher grace, divine grace is a blessing. As we, not just me, not just you, as we are alive, not unalive, alive, we are present in the age. I mean, we are maturing spiritually. We're in the age of remembrance. All life is to be lived through awareness and remembrance and through unconditional love. That's all we got to do. With everything else that we're doing, make sure your life is fueled with unconditional love and divine grace and compassion, and all things shall begin to do what? Become attracted to you. That which will resonate with you is attracted to you because it's like mindedness. On that note, I love you unconditionally. May your life continue to be blessed because you yourself are a blessing. Your children bless you, you bless your children. Just continue to be who you are. And before I sign off, I'm so happy to see my niece here, Abira Revens-Bey. Thank you for being here today, finding me here today. Thank you, Indigo Moon. Thank you, Jackie Fillmore Antoine. Thank you, Rose Jefferson. Thank you, Barbara Ewing. I know there's some others that will hear this later. Send it out to them. I think Jen may pop in here. Melanie Hall from Australia will come in here later. Holly Merlin Hemmett out of California also will come in here later. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you dearly. I love you unconditionally. My grace is your grace. See you next time. And hit the like button and subscribe so you can hear this all the time. The more you can hear, the better. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. This is what President's Weekend. Make it your weekend. Not just President's Weekend. Make it your weekend with your family, with your friends. And Amira, my lovely niece, I'm putting together a special series of meditations that are designed for protection in this world so that we all stay here on the planet doing exactly what the creator, the infinite creator, has us doing. We all have more than one assignment. One, though, is to love ourselves and love those who are close to us. Take care, everybody.